Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weekly Collective. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. I'm so happy to be here with everybody. Today, our special topic is messages from your guides. It was pretty close for a while, but that was the clear winner. And it explains a lot of what I was dreaming about last night because everything seemed to be kind of like out of this world. So I totally get it. Welcome. I'm so happy to be here today. We're going to be taking a look both at the 7-day forecast and also a special topic. So we're going to get started first with the channeled messages which come through dreams. And as I was just alluding to, mine were way out there. I spent part of my dream time in a cosmic checkpoint, and then I was watching as things were starting to move like faster than light. So this portends good things for all of us. Good to see everybody, by the way. Thanks to Dakota for helping with moderation, and Apollo's in the background. All right, so the cosmic checkpoint. I didn't quite recognize the setting, but it felt like there was this sort of line of cars or vehicles that were waiting to get to the next stop. And there was just a person that would pop in and basically check in with you. And to me, it felt like it was a metaphor for like a gatekeeper or a pause, a necessary pause in your life. I chose the Judgment card here because this very much felt like spirit coming through and saying, are you ready to answer the call? Are you ready to step through the door? Are you ready to let go of something too? Because what's in the rear view mirror represents the past. And there is this sort of great thing on the horizon. So if you are in that lull or that plateau, or there is a slight delay that comes through over the course of this next 7-day period, enjoy it. If you are at that lightning fast moment, it's okay, you're ready. It's sort of like either end of the spectrum, you're exactly where you need to be. It's just sort of like surrendering to that. There was something that my mom and I used to say, which was I reminded her to always look up. And as I was doing this, it means like metaphorically look at the positive, look at the silver lining, look at the lesson. But a lot of times it's also saying environmentally, see what's going on around you. So in the dream, I saw something that I couldn't quite explain or discern. So it looked like rockets or spaceships or just energy that was traveling fast. And I saw it in the number 3, which most of the 3s in tarot are pretty good. 3 of Cups, 3 of Wands, 3 of Pentacles. We don't love the 3 of Swords, but I'll take 3 out of 4. They're pretty darn good. Because things were moving, and there are vehicles in the 3 of Wands. They're just in the form of ships, but this is a very old system. So perhaps nowadays they could be something like planes or spaceships or rocket ships. So I was like, all right, it's actually the 3 of Wands, just a different vehicle. We have to look at it from the lens of history. So what we see here is things happening fast. I saw a bright light and I heard a sonic boom. That's why I'm like probably a space, like a rocket ship taking off from Earth. So prepare for lightning fast manifestation and be aware of what's going on. Look up, look around, and engage because it's happening now. And 3 of Wands is usually indicative of you don't have to wait much longer. So we get 1 card of impatience followed by watch out what you're looking for. Here it is. And I kind of like that combination. And even before the topic made itself apparent this morning, I always wait until about 7 a.m. to see where the votes are. I was like, yeah, that totally makes sense. That's why I'm seeing like ships in the sky. Your guides, basically, again, coming through here. So I'm just going to pull decks here on the fly. I usually put a poll here, but we got a lot to talk about. So let's begin with the 7-day forecast first. Welcome, everybody. This portion, everything today is for everyone present unless otherwise mentioned. We'll be looking at the elemental forecast. That's the only piece that's sort of like sign specific. All right. All right, the cards are actually popping out of the deck, so we're going to allow these to be the ones that are coming through here. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and there's another one down here Sunday. Yep, this was an animated deck today, and I allow the Hand of Spirit to work when it wants to. Okay, let's begin with the message for today. Let me just pull that up so you can see which day of the week we're on. So for today, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and it is in reverse. This is usually a card that's indicative of recovery, growth, expansion. But as we can see here, sometimes it comes from a period of having to like recover sometimes, or it is, maybe you're taking something and trying to rejuvenate it, resuscitate it. I even saw that a couple of nights ago, this energy of breathing life back into something. So on the heels of recovery or growth, it takes time. That's one thing. That's why that checkpoint message and image came through. So check in with yourself, make sure that you're ready. Don't rush things. As a gardener, this card always resonates a lot with me because usually when you give up on something, you're just about to give up on a plant or something, all of a sudden it sprouts something new. So that center plant, I actually have a new growth. I might get another flower on it. The cactus on the side, now it's starting to put out new pads. So, right after all the blooming is done, then new growth happens, and there's always things happening beneath the surface. So for you, if you're impatient, if you're wondering why things aren't happening, this card is basically just reiterating the beneath the surface growth. And so today would be a perfect day to focus on taking care of yourself, getting comfortable with your finances, looking at the long-term things, and magically, by the way, look, we got the Three of Wands midweek. Just make sure you understand all that you have available to you so that when things start to take off this week, you're ready. Let's begin with the energy of tomorrow, Monday. The Emperor card. So this is your moment to be strategic. We see him using that chess piece. It's a chance for you to also take the initiative, take some action, and decide. You get to decide what you want. And so, we spend the first portion of our life listening to other people, waiting for approval from teachers, from parents, from friends. We spend the middle of our life kind of trying to figure out who we are, and towards the end, we don't care anymore because we kind of know, or we know that we can't please everyone. The Emperor card is really encouraging you to get to that end point earlier, because the sooner you know that it doesn't matter, you've got to do what you've got to do with or without some of these other people being on board, then you're going to be more successful. That's whenever you see a young person that's just really poised together, it's usually they're an old soul, they know that it's not worth it, and that you have to sort of strategically make your moves. So this is a good day to hold a meeting. It's a good day to speak up. It's a good day to do what's necessary, even when, or especially when other people are, like, well, I want you to do this or whatever. Just be bold. Basically paint with a bold marker on Monday and speak up. Organization, structure, leadership, all of those energies are contained within this card. And again, it's basically all roads lead back to you. All right, so that's Monday. It's a good day for you and boss energy. And as we get into the energy of Tuesday, you're going to be busy. This is a day to collaborate, to cooperate. We do have the Eight of Wands in reverse. The good news with this is it doesn't kind of matter which position it's in. It's still auspicious. With it being in reverse, you might want to take time to look up, to look around, to tune in. It's typically a card that is connected with the people around you. It is flying pretty fast in the air like rocket ships. It's kind of interesting that it leads into a slightly more focused card at the midweek point. But I would say, again, back into the energy of Tuesday, what you want to focus on is not losing yourself in the shuffle, making sure that you're on top of all of your commitments and collaborating with others. So this is the day where you roll up your sleeves and you get a lot done. And it's a great day for traditional like work, paperwork, cleaning the house, traveling, whatever you need to do, moving things around, moving things forward. And then we get to the point, the whole point of this reading so far, because I saw the Three of Wands coming through as rockets or spaceships or aircraft, but still Three of Wands. So Wednesday, this is when the magic happens. This is when all things are starting to come into focus. She represents both the ships coming in and also kind of like the ship itself. This card is saying you don't have to wait for somebody else. You can be the embodiment of the change, because the surfer is also, it's kind of like you're a vehicle going through the waves. I just did a reading which will premiere tomorrow for Cancer, and I was talking about waves. And one of the things that I found out in my research is, waves are really energy. It's the water is the vehicle of transport for that, but the waves represent energy. And so this is a day where if you've been feeling low energy, it starts to amp up. And it's also a day for follow through. Waves will eventually get from where they start to the end point one way, shape, or form. They're going to push through things, they're going to go around things, but the energy has to find a way to get to its destination. And I feel like if you set things in motion, especially if you set things in motion today, you take some authority here, and then on Tuesday, send it out into the world, then you're going to get some feedback this day. 3 of Wands, manifestation, movement, positivity. It's basically things coming in, your ship's coming in. It's a good day for good news, and it's a good day for movement, and it is a good day for travel. We don't see the ship, she is the ship also. So this is a day where you can go and see someone, you can do a face-to-face. It's a pretty great day across the board. All right, I love this. This is a good week, folks. As we get to Thursday, we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's asking you to take calculated risks to turn your sort of like, if you're turning the wheel of the ship, it's saying, let's get going, let's drive, get into the driver's seat. It is a day to really focus on money, contracts, business, and this represents a new cyclical shift for you too. So this is the best day of the week so far for money, and the best day probably for business. And it feels like what you've been doing so far also pays off in a physical way. It's a little bit more subtle at the midweek, but around Thursday, it's looking much, much better. Now we get to the impatience of Temperance reversed. So let's talk about this on Friday. This is where some of you may also have to sit for a moment with the cosmic sort of gatekeeper. So don't lose track of what you're supposed to be focusing on. Take some time. You know, the traditional Temperance angel has 2 cups representing like that balancing energy. She also usually has 1 foot on land, 1 foot in the water. So she's trying to find her footing. She's trying to balance out her commitments, her energy, her emotions. And in this one, we see what? The sun and the earth here. So for many of you, you're trying to figure out the gravity of a situation. Or is it the sun and the moon? Sun and the moon, and you're in the middle. So you're trying to figure out where you stand. Tidal forces. I was also researching this for the Cancer reading. So there are like 4 main ways that waves form. Tectonic forces, earthquakes and things of that nature. But the sun and the moon are also 2 forces, and then the wind. But you could be pulled between a rock and a hard place, or between 2 different energies. And so Friday, you want to remember the voice, the leadership energy from Monday. You want to remember how quickly things are manifesting, how you've started to see this nice increase on resources and productivity. And just don't lose track of what you care about, the momentum that you've built. It's okay to take a moment and ground yourself, meditate, etc. But basically be patient and don't lose hope, don't lose faith, because things look good even here as we go into the weekend. So let's take a look now at the energy of Saturday. It is completion, 10 of Wands. This is one of the nicer 10 of Wands cards, because instead of a burdened person that's carrying all of that weight on their back, kind of longingly looking at the exit point, we see someone that's coming down the hill. They've gone through that journey, and they've learned to delegate, because we can see, that there's this sort of sharing of energy between her and the animal there. So you don't have to carry the weight all on your own. It can be collaborative, cooperative, etc. And it is, an easier road at this point, or you're getting to a point where things are starting to improve. So I like that. It looks like a good week, as we're saying in chat. I agree. It feels like by next Sunday, you need a break though. So when we're looking at the energy for next Sunday, we have the Hermit, introspective card, one for refueling, refilling, recharging, not necessarily a super community-based or social card. And I'm okay with that, because based on everything that I've seen this week, you're going to be kind of in the flow here with a lot of people. Both of these days, actually, I would say the first 3 days, there's a lot of people energy around you. They're paying attention to you here. You're working with a lot of people here, and you may be connecting or traveling here. And then this day, you're just really busy. So there's so much energy going out and around you that as you kind of have this is like in literature, the denouement. So things are just starting to descend, the descending action. Then you need this moment here for you to just chill and integrate. And I really think that that's what a week from today is about, integration and relaxation. It's a good week, folks. It's a really good week so far. Today, some of you are looking at, let's now switch to highlights and lowlights. So the highlights of the week, I mean, there's so many to tell you the truth, but I would say Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Emperor, Three of Wands, and the Wheel. Those are all great energies to really move things forward. There are really no lowlights this week, I'm going to say. The challenge today is many of you are focusing too much on speed and quantity. You should be focusing on quality, and I really think that's it. What are you getting out of each and everything? And then you might lose focus a little on Friday. So those are the only two challenging days. Everything else looks pretty good. Try not to overdo things on next Saturday, because sometimes the 10 of Wands can be a day where there's just a lot going on. So we'll remember that. Okay, so we're going to move now to the elemental forecast. And the elemental forecast is where we check in with each of the signs just to see what kind of energy is apparent. So let's do that. All right. So shuffling the cards, looking at fire, earth, air, and water. Okay, let's see what's going on here for fire signs. First, this is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's a week of enlightenment here. We have the Eight of Swords in reverse. So in the upright position, typically there's blindfolds on this card, and all of the swords can represent feeling like you're painted or penned into a corner. And so when the card is reversed, it's saying, oh, I see an out. I see a solution. It also, like the Two of Swords and Eight of Swords, can be sometimes trying to turn, a blind eye to things or plug your ears up. And then ultimately you're like, I just need to pay attention to this. The sooner I deal with this, the sooner I'll feel better. So you're either getting that epiphany of this can't be ignored, or you're seeing a new way to do something, a new way out. Either way, it's pretty good. It's a lightening of energy. So for those of you that have felt burdened, have felt blocked, have felt like you're not sure what to do, clarity is basically what this would be. A lack of clarity in the upright position, but clarification, opening, and lightening when it's reversed. This is why I read reversals personally, because certain heavier cards are better when they're reversed, and this is the case for this. Don't be afraid to lean into research. Don't be afraid to speak up or ask questions or point to things that others want to ignore. At least highlight it. Down the road, then, if something goes, in the wrong direction, you could say, I did mention that. That's why I was concerned about it, and you've covered your bases. It's not necessarily even an I told you so. It's more like if someone says, why didn't you do it? You could say, actually, I did, and here's the proof. So cover your bases, speak up if you need to, embrace new opportunities, be unconventional. It's basically not the obvious with this. You have to look beyond what's in front of you and lean into faith and hope as well, okay? That's everything for fire. Let's look at the energy of earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This is you learning to say no. So if we look at the upright position, very close to the traditional Six of Pentacles, someone giving time and energy to someone who needs it. Usually there are multiple people that are reaching out for your support, and there's often scales in this card, which means I have to weigh the investment. Is it right? Is it just? Is it putting me in a place where I'm lacking balance? So what you want to do this week is be as picky and discerning as possible and really focus on return of investment and how you feel at the end of the day. There may also be some of you that are just deciding to do more philanthropic, volunteer, community-based work. Good for you. Again, remember to refuel your internal tank and not give so much that you're exhausted. When it comes to just the bare minimum for success, that is the Six of Pentacles. It shows that you have now finally a little bit more, and you can do a lot with that. You can save for tomorrow, you can give to other people, you can rest and just let things build up. There's so many things with the Six of Pentacles. It's starting to reclaim your balance. But there is always that requirement of discernment and communication. Yes, I want this. No, I don't want this. Yes, you can have this. No, you can't have this. Speak up, use your yeses and nos accordingly. And as long as you do that, you're good. All right. Moving on to our air signs, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. It's a pretty good week for you. We have the star card. It's reversed, so don't limit yourself. Remember to look up. Remember to reach for the star or the stars. And also you might be having some, unconventional, otherworldly sort of ideas as well. Write them down. See what those inspirations could bring you. Plant those seeds. There also may be people that throw you into the hot seat or the spotlight, and you have what it takes to succeed, but sometimes there's that feeling of needing to step back. Don't edit yourself. Don't step back. This is a good week for you overall. The other thing here is this card is basically antithetical to blending in. So you're not supposed to just be the same old, same old. It's good to stand up, to stand out, right? So there you go. I actually love what I'm seeing for Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And because the star is in the sky, this is also a really good sort of card for you. Get that bird's eye view and set trends, don't follow trends. That's the other thing that I would say with this. All right, now let's move on to Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces, all of my water signs. And for you, we've got Judgment, and it's an awakening sort of card here. So let's look at this in the upright position. We saw Gabriel before. Now we just see an angel, and it's almost like that angel's getting ready to take flight. And so, again, this is the checkpoint. It especially is coming through for all water. Are you ready? Are you ready for the next step? If you aren't, what's holding you back? Is it a lack of information? Is it just fear and anxiety? Is it something that doesn't quite serve or suit your highest good? Whatever it is, deal with that first, and then realize that there is a call to action. There is a call to connect to this higher purpose, and all things considered, it looks like you're in a really good space. If you hit a full stop, if there was something that fell short of expectations, if there was a quote unquote failure, it really isn't the end all be all. The Judgment card is like a turnstile, and so you can then come through again better. You can always get a second chance like this and the Eight of Cups. You get to try it again, or you get to do something, and there's a better, like normally we see souls rising from the dead. So this is a card of second chances, but you want to be more aligned this time around, and that's going to help you out. Okay. Overall, great energy. And I would say also with this, there could be past life connections, karmic lessons also that are coming back into your life. And this is a chance to resolve all of those. All right. Is everybody ready for the special topic today? I hope you are. I'm going to clear up all the cards here. Then we're going to take a look at what all of you voted on the community tab, which is messages from your guides. So let me get everything set up here. While I'm doing that, this is a great moment to remind you. If you enjoy what you see here, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up. It helps. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you enjoy. I read them all later, and it helps inform what I produce here on the channel, so thank you. You can also give me a follow on social media. I'm on all major platforms as described here. Let me see which deck I'm going to choose, and then I will be right back. Let's see. Oh yeah, I know which one. I just have to find where I put it. Okay. It's hiding from me, which means I might use a different one for today. Okay, we'll use a different one, not a biggie. I'm going to use, I was going to do Tarot of the Divine, but I can't find where it went. So I'm going to do this one instead, because I don't use it all the time, and it's beautiful, and it was sitting there. So the decks, for anybody that reads, oh, I found it. Okay, so let's let them decide. All right, which one wants to be here today? They have personalities. All right, do you want me to read with you? Four of Wands. Do you want me to read with you? King of Wands. Okay, that was what I thought. All right, we're going to go with the one that I wanted. I just couldn't find it for a second. You're dealing with energy with decks, so it's kind of interesting sometimes, like when cards fly out or when they're hard to find. You're like, do you want to show up or do you not want to show up? All right, here we go. By the way, thank you so much. It looks like somebody gifted some memberships. Paula, I appreciate that. I'm going to say thanks to everybody that joined a little bit later. It's so cool when we have this sense of community here, so I do appreciate that. Okay, we're focusing on messages from your guides. Let's see what's coming through. We have the Six of Pentacles coming through yet again, so it's good that we just talked about that. Okay, let's take a look, folks, at everything that's coming through. We're going to begin with Catalyst energy first. With this, we have the Hunter coming through. The card was slightly on its side, but it's okay. We're going to focus at, as I said, some of you being in the spotlight this week. If you're ready, the universe is ready for you. And what we see here is that surprise momentum. It's like any given night or the Chariot card. So the minute you start to put a little bit of energy behind something that you've been trying to push forward, it kind of takes on its own speed and its own momentum. So I like that. We could connect this also to like Artemis or Diana, and it's about connecting with your passion, connecting with the moon, and just sort of saying, I really want to see this happen within a month. I want to see this happen within a couple of weeks. So you can start to see rapid action. And in my dreams, what I saw again was a flash of light, a boom, and then I just woke up and I thought it's happening. So, and it did wake me up from my sleep. So it does feel like faster than light. And then you're like in the spotlight, but it's a good sort of spotlight. It's just sort of surprising. That was definitely what I felt, was surprised at the speed with which things happened. But that's sometimes how the universe works, right? All right, so let's take a look here at the Celtic Cross itself and see what messages the universe has. I always like to take a quick scan. So there is a necessary change on the horizon. We've got the gatekeeper here also with the Hierophant. So Judgment or the Hierophant, they can both be gatekeepers. We have transition being the main thing. Are you ready to make the change, or are you going to make it, or is the universe going to make it for you? You have choices, and there are choices in the environment. So let me try to help you with some of this stuff. We have the 10 of Wands here in the center, reversed. So this one's kind of cool because we see that growing from the ashes of something that has passed is abundance. So again, the reinvention energy is coming through loud and clear with this particular 10 of Wands. This is a time to rebuild, to learn, and to grow from a past experience. For some of you, you may be holding on to the past, or you may be haunted by the past, but the momentum and the movement is what this week is all about, the next 7 days. So focus on potential, focus on momentum, focus on the judgment energy, basically, again, rising up from the ashes of something that was past. Just a general health note this week from your guides as well, don't overdo it. 10 of Wands in reverse can be the burden, it can be energy, it can actually be physical things that you might be lifting if you're moving, or if you do a job where there's a lot of heavy lifting. It can throw your back out, or if it's emotional baggage, it can kind of take the wind out of you and from your sails. And we don't want that, because we saw midweek the 3 of Wands. We want those sails to keep moving so that you're not losing any momentum. So Delegate, ask for help, take breaks as needed, and know that you're set up for success. Because ultimately, Ten of Wands is still auspicious. It means that something's coming to a close, and typically you're going to be headed now for either another ace or the Knight, Queen, King, etc. It's opportunities for something new. On top of this, you have the two best 10 cards that we could ask for. Missing only is the 10 of Cups, but I'll take these two. I think most of us would take this: completion and then a reward for that hard work. So the 10 of Pentacles can be advancement in business. It can be also the ability for you to connect and network, good things with money. It also represents marriage, partnership, and contracts. All of these things are coming through with this. If we look at the traditional card too, one thing here that is missing would also be sort of like sharing your wisdom, sharing your insight, maybe mentorship as well, because there's usually like an old man. We have like the old dog on this card. One thing that I would say, because we have the old dog, you can teach an old dog new tricks is one thing that I would say based on what I'm seeing here because of the 10 of Wands underneath it. But here's your traditional one. It's a gateway. So this is a chance to go through something. And I saw that sort of gatekeeper or it was kind of like a checkpoint. So I believe that there's something even better beyond this. So there's a couple of things coming to completion, and then there's something to celebrate on the horizon. Okay? Let's see what's coming through karmically from the past. It's really just a question. Are you done with a certain thing in your life? Relationship, a job, a way of thinking. If you are, then this is a chance to truly release it. If you're not, then it's going to come back around. So this is a chance to really release karmic energy. If you need a break, take a break. This card comes through when we're in need of a holiday or relaxation, and this is a good time for all of those things. If a door was closed, it's not permanently closed with this card. And in fact, if you're trying to release something, this card invites even more, like it's reminding you that if you don't want to close the door, you can come back to it. But if you're really trying to wipe your hands clean, you have to sort of like incontrovertibly say no and goodbye so that that door closes and that new things can open up, because this isn't the cleanest of exits. Usually what happens with this is the door is open for you to come back. Like you quit a job, you can come back to it. You break up with someone, down the line you end up getting back together. Or you have a fight with someone, or you didn't get something you wanted, you get a chance later to resolve it. But it's not finished. So this is a chance to finish unfinished business, suffice it to say. So now let's take a look at one of the gatekeeper cards here, the Hierophant. This is very structured, very traditional, very expected. And so for many of you, this could also be just a chance to say this path of predictability, of conformity doesn't work for me. Or maybe some of you are like, I want something predictable. I've been doing things that are, way outlandish, and now I just want whatever you want. You've got this choice. Are you going to walk the path of tradition, or are you going to break from tradition? I won't tell you what to do because both paths can be good. It really is a decision from within, because we have two tens here, so two forks in the road. One seems like it's more connected to maybe wealth and predictability, and one may be a chance to reinvent and explore, and it could be a little bit more, energy for you. You have to be ready and willing to do that. So you have a path, you have a fork in the road here. Either way, though, we see success. So this is, what do you want? As a tarot reader, I can identify possibilities for you, but I can't make your mind up. I can't tell you what your heart is telling you, but I can tell you that there are two successful paths in front of you, and that's good. Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles. Which thing do you feel the most movement in your life right now? Career, emotion, personal development? Because we have Jack and the Beanstalk energy on this one. So where you feel the passion, you'll also see the growth. You'll also see the movement. And so that would be the only thing that I would say to advise you there. There could be an offer on the table for love, for employment, for friendship. You just have to weigh the option, because you're showing up this month with the Six of Pentacles. So it has to work out. You have to be more than even, breaking even on that. So make sure that you're getting what you need. And if not, push it back and say, I need this in order to make this happen. This is a very good negotiating card, and it's really auspicious that it's in the crowning position. Okay? As we look at the near future, we have the Tower. So the whole reason that we're all assembling today is so that you can get behind a necessary change. We have the Tower followed by the Six of Swords. So once the dust settles, things look pretty good. We also have the Ace of Pentacles up here. There could be a need for you to, some of you are moving for work, some of you are moving in with someone, some of you are moving out, but it's a necessary move so that you can go to the next destination. So just know this, that whatever it is that's underway, the change, the movement, the shift, to me, it feels very organic. It feels very necessary. And once you embrace the sort of energy of the Tower, then you can be the surfer that we saw in that Wednesday energy of the Three of Wands. As I said earlier, waves are just, basically frequencies or energy that needs to be transported. The Tower is a buildup of energy. That's why we have thunderclouds here and lightning. So if you can release the energy before the Tower hits, you can also channel the energy. If you wait for someone else or something else to make the change happen, it's less predictable. That's what the Tower teaches us. Are you going to be the agent of change, or are you going to let it kind of just happen and let the bricks or cards fall as they will? It's not as good to let others make up the sort of path for you, because everything else here is pretty empowered. This is the card of being decisive, being in charge, structure. We then have you taking control over money and also sort of like where you want to move or put your energy next. And then that makes positive shifts that we see here on this side. So this is how the guides were summing up who you are right now. It's reclamation of balance. Six of Pentacles. Here, instead of people, we have all these cool little beetles coming through wanting some of the energy here. And so there is this sort of decision, again, how much, how often, and where do I put my time and my energy? How much do I save for myself? How much do I save for a rainy day? Decisions. That's the most important thing this month. Making good decisions that serve and suit you, and that also balance out the needs, desires, and opportunities of others. This is about everybody can win with the Six of Pentacles. Not all at once, though. So usually you can get what you want, but it's about putting it over time or about spanning things out a little bit, and also asking everybody to give and take. Everybody can get a little bit further ahead, but there has to be compromise. There have to be some decisions that are made. Around you, there is a lack of focus. So people could be confused. If you're communicating, make sure that you're clear in what you're communicating and how you're communicating. This can represent cloudy leadership. Could be your parents, could be a boss, could just be people around you. They don't know what they're doing. So the cool thing with this is, if there's confusion, there's also an opportunity for leadership. I think one of the reasons that some of you are in this chaotic moment is an industry, a group, a sort of setting that you're connected to is it's in a metamorphosis or a chrysalis stage. So you have to decide what you want, possibly even independent of that traditional structure. Because if we look at this as a triptych, as three, and we're looking at it now kind of panning out over here, we see traditional structures starting to come to a close, and there is a rebuilding energy here. And whenever there's rebuilding, there's a chance for you to decide, do I stay or do I go? So for some of you, that's also what's coming through. Possibly even you got everything that you needed out of school, a job, relationship, something. And now the dust is settling. Once the dust settles, you have to then kind of like pick up the pieces and do something different. So a chance to reimagine and reinvent is the big thing that I'm seeing in the environment right now. Okay. So for many of you, this could be a new career path. And for those of you that might also be in the throes of major changes, sometimes there are challenges before there is that rainbow, right? So you focus more on tomorrow. Last year was just a bunch of Tower energy for me. It's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. I kept the faith that eventually there would be a rainbow, and there was, but it took most of the year. I would say for like 5 months of the year, almost 6 months of the year, I was in a lot of change. Losing someone, having some difficulty with where I was getting settled, health issues, breaking I was like a lot of stuff. but I didn't give up. I just kept pushing. I knew it would get better eventually. So I see in chat that some of you are going through it. I've been there too. You have to keep pushing and focusing on opening new doors, taking care of yourself in the process, and then reestablishing things. In a dream last year, my mom met me. I was trying to reach up to a cliff, and she's no longer on the planet. She said, honey, you're gonna have to pull yourself up. You're gonna have to do this on your own, but you will. So for all of you out there, I'm gonna say you can lift yourself up, and you can lift each other up, and that's part of the reason that we show up here every weekend. All right, so opportunities, which really is important for all of you that are struggling. We have the Four of Cups, a hidden blessing, something you didn't expect, something that could come out of left field. So in this one, the card was reversed, by the way, so it could be not expected. The cup is usually floating in the sky, so this one is behind her. So there could have been, and we mentioned here that there was a door that was closed, but it's not shut. So if you missed out on something or didn't make something the first time around, try it again. Or if there's something that you left behind you, an old skill set, an old friend, something that you didn't think you had a chance to do again, this card is inviting you to look back and try that one more time. So Four of Cups also is a comparison card. Your life is not your parents, your grandparents, your children's, your friends, anyone around you. It's yours alone. It's your script. You're writing it. So the freedom to write or rewrite sits solely with you. You never know what other people's stories are, how they got where they got. Maybe in this lifetime it looks like it was easy, but you don't know what they did in past lives to open up these opportunities. So focus on you, focus on what's around you, open up new channels, and know that based on the energy for this week, you could start to make a lot of progress when we looked at the 7-day forecast. And the one card after this is saying, in order to find that cup, that extra ace that's floating up here, it may require travel. It may require shutting the door on something, someone saying goodbye to this, because this is the past, this is the change, this is the movement. 8 of Cups, Tower, 6 of Swords, that tells a story there. And then we see something newer and better. Ace of Cups, and always a hidden ace in the 4 of Cups. You just have to be able to see it. So movement is the key that the Hierophant would hold here, because the Hierophant typically has 2 keys. So one key is the traditional path, one key is moving on, trying something different, reinventing, going back and doing something you always wanted to do. It's the path less traveled. So you have an invitation to explore that. Maybe it's worth exploring this month, okay? We're gonna now expand this and take a look now at the energies of health, wealth, love, and destiny. Each is multifaceted and multi-part. We're gonna start off with health. As the disclaimer says, I always like to remind you that you are the agent of your own change. You can also work with any professional that you need. I'm looking at energy, so we're gonna look at energy here. Invocation, speaking of that, ceremony. What are you doing in your life, habit-wise, habitually, to make things better? So this can indicate a change of diet, exercise, meditation, also just changing up the same old, same old. In those sort of habitual things that we do, sometimes there comes a good pattern, but sometimes there can come stagnation. And so this is about shaking it up. It's very alchemic here. It's also saying go back to the energy of prayer, meditation, and vision work, because when you say to the universe, I am ready, I am worthy, I embrace all that is coming through, then you truly start to, you're invocating your power. You're bringing in the energy of the Emperor, which was coming through for Monday. So Monday's mantra is, I am ready, I am worthy, I am open to receive love, abundance, and opportunity in the highest forms. So that will be, for some of you, what you want to do. You can make up your own mantras because you're the writer, but something like that. Say it, write it, be it, think it. You got to put all those sort of things into motion, and then the power starts to happen. That's why prayer and mantra works. That's why it's been around for several millennia. It's because the invocation connects you to your power and to your source. Because there are different frequencies. We were talking about the waves and how they come from wind and tectonic forces and also tidal forces. So when we think of the frequencies in our body, electrical impulses in the brain, physical vibrations from the throat, and then the physical manifestation of it when we start to do it. So thoughts, words, actions. You've got to use all of the frequencies to bring it to fruition. Alrighty, let's take a look at other health messages coming through. For some of you, changing up the cycle, we talked about this. So this is a cycle that needs to change. That was the same old, same old. It's not going to be the same old anymore with the Tower. If there's anything that you didn't like in the past, particularly those of you that might be struggling with addictions or things of that nature, we can see a change happening here as well for the better. And we see you moving forward and moving on. For those of you that had sudden, unexpected change, whether it was, something that you wanted or didn't want, we see also movement. This is a card that helps you get over mourning, the Six of Swords. Four of Swords and Six of Swords help you get past the immediacy that comes through with the Tower. Death is also immediate, but the Tower is even more. And I did wake up with this feeling of like, that just happened. So some of you it's either really good or it's really unexpected, but I keep snapping my fingers. It happens fast. It's like waking up or jumping into cold water and catching your breath. So the good news is if you're doing that, you will catch your breath. You will move forward. You will see the blessing behind it. Be mindful of how much of a burden emotionally and physically you're putting on your body and your mind. Don't put too much weight into finances. Money comes and goes. Get a handle on it for sure, but don't equate your worth solely to it. It doesn't go with you. It's just something that on this physical planet that we have to maintain. You could even pull back if you want to. Six of Pentacles is finding balance and not necessarily, you might choose less but have more time, for instance, like a lower paying job that gives you more free time. That was something I decided to do when I quit my day job. At the time, I took a pay cut. Eventually, I was able to kind of balance everything out, but it was worth it for the opportunity cost of basically having the ability to do what I wanted. So you have to weigh opportunities as well. The main thing that I see here mentally is just your mind going in a lot of directions. Talk to someone this week. As I said, I'm not a substitute for a therapist. There might be someone in your life, career counseling, or actually just a traditional counselor that can help you sort it out. Sometimes just talking things out with a friend will help you clear it out too. But clearing the air is the main thing here. And maybe taking a vacation or a trip could be advantageous. Okay, that's everything. That was a lot, but that's everything for health. We're going to move on to wealth. Let's read this wordy card. When I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. Suffice it to say, joy brings abundance. That's the edited version. Love this deck. Universe has your back, but the universe talks a lot. So when I'm connected to my joyful presence, I attract support from the universe. When you're in the frequency of love, when you're joyful, more opportunities come to you because you're exuding gratitude, and it's also just more fun for people to be around you. So in wealth, if you can connect more to that energy of joy and gratitude, thanking people, that's going to help you quite a bit as well. Okay, let's see what's going on. I mentioned some of you may not have control over some external things happening at work. I saw some of you said you might be in the writing or acting industry. This card totally makes sense because there's a lot of, things are shaking up a little bit. But you have skills, you have connections, you have options. And so this is about also, whenever we have something that we put a lot of energy into, it is also about making sure that there are multiple lines of business. So when I did work a traditional job, 9 to 5, I started doing this, like all kinds of things that were metaphysical long before I left, probably starting back like 2009. I didn't quit my job until 2015. So I started learning about meditation, learning more about yoga, learning more about the cards, talking about psychic phenomenon, doing all this stuff way in advance of me quitting, knowing eventually that I wanted to do something more, spending more time with my book, trying all of these different things because I thought something has to change and I need to start cooking some other things up so that I have options. I can't put all of my eggs in one basket. So for those of you that are experiencing that, I would encourage other things to help you so that this isn't the end all be all. You're like, all right, that's kind of crazy. I'm going to focus over here until this settles down. Then we can come back to this. And I know it's easier said than done, but Maybe that helps you knowing that it took me 6 years to turn the ship and 6 years to quit. I didn't do it overnight. 2 years I waited. I wanted to quit, but I had to wait. So it was a long time. I didn't do it overnight. I saw the tower coming, but I had to figure out what to do. And so take your time. I'm not asking anybody to do anything overnight. It takes time, it takes work. And the more you have invested in something, the longer it takes. Okay, enough with that. For everybody else, you may actually have an offer on the table. As I said before, you're weighing out 2 different paths, some of you, and there's a trade-off. Is it going to be worth the expense of maybe sometimes your free time and sacrificing connection with family for advancement? You have to weigh that out, some of you. Some of you want to walk an unconventional path like I did. And sometimes I always think, what would it have been like if I had stayed on the other one? I couldn't have, not another day, but you wonder. And there came a point, especially now, there's never going to be a going back to that because, you Google my name and it's all tarot cards. So I'm committed to the path that I'm on, but you have to sort of embrace and just really think, I'm ready for this, and go for it. Okay. What else is going on? Travel. In order to make changes, again, there could be a move or going outside of your current boundaries, and to expand your business. By the way, this can be expansion for those of you that are private business owners. It might be time to globalize. What you're doing isn't working or it isn't showing growth, and so you have to kind of expand. Overall, weigh all the time and energy constraints and make sure that you are where you need to be. I think that's it, folks. I think it's pretty good. The main thing here, we already talked about it, is it's your path and your path alone. Necessary changes. Planning for a rainy day. Having a contingency plan as well. This isn't a permanent state. Whatever you're in, if you're in the middle of a sort of fluctuation, we see movement here. So I think that the most challenging piece is probably underway, and there's something on the horizon to embrace. Okay? And the last piece, what brings you happiness and joy? That's where the focus can and always should be. And you should be willing to go after that, almost at any cost at some point, because that's what this whole existence is about. Okay? Now let's focus on love. This can be anybody in your life, because we all work with the energy of love. And then I'll go specifically at some of the different categories of relationship status. We have an upside down bouquet. To me, this can mean a lot of things. Unrequited love, unexpected appreciation, like someone throwing a bouquet at a dancer or an actor. It could just also be something where it feels like, can I really, again, self-doubt, do I deserve this? Because this is a good thing. You give a bouquet to someone that you love. You take time to smell the roses and enjoy things. But know this, you are worthy. If you are receiving positivity, you are worthy. If you're receiving an advance or an opportunity, do you want it? Do you like the person that is extending the hand? And if you don't, then that's okay. You get to choose. It's always choice, free will. Now let's look at 3 different categories: in a relationship, looking for love, or single and happy. Again, through the lens of what your guides want you to focus on. If you're currently in a relationship, change has to happen. Change or growth. So these are cards of completion and growth. These could represent the 2 of you, the 10 of Pentacles, the 10 of Wands. This is career. This is kind of like growth and movement and ideas. So I see 2 ambitious people here. I see a big change coming through. Possibly, so let's say you aren't married, because I'm looking at long-term relationships. Not everyone chooses to get married. There could be a decision like, let's make this legal. So there could be a proposal for some of you. For the rest of you, there's a lot of conversation around, what are we going to do next? What changes can we make? And so this is the Tower and the 6 of Swords. It's either going to expand in the most exciting way, or this is sort of like the rollout and final chapter of something that's been happening for a while. So expansion, or that sort of denouement that I talked about earlier. And either way, it's okay. There was nothing really contentious about this. We did not get the 10 of Swords. We did not get the Devil. We just sort of get this period where it's like, what's the next chapter? What's next? And there's decisions to be made from both sides of the equation. This is the 2 of you. And I think you can achieve something where you both get what you want, but There has to be sort of room for compromise. Otherwise, it's moving on. But for everybody that's in a good place, I see some of you just moved. Some of you sold a house because this can represent house and money. You got a good price on it. And then we see you moving on. So it could just simply be a move. Not a big deal. But for some of you, it's a little bit deeper and it's more like, no, I need to know if this person's going to grow with me in the next phase of the journey. If you're looking for love right now, can you find it? Yes, you can. Big changes coming through. The person or the people that you're pulling through seem to be more commitment oriented. Ten of Pentacles and Ace of Pentacles are very much, I want something serious. That's what the other person would be saying. We get a very traditional vibe from the other person as well. Are you looking for that? Or do you want unconventional? You can get unconventional here too, because this could be the two different people as well. What I'm seeing for those that are trying to manifest, remember again, lightning fast, rocket ship, spaceship, flash of light. So it can happen fast, but what's manifesting right now are clouds, which that's what's surrounding the tower. So you have to be clearer on the manifestation or you just pull in a lot. I'd rather you pull in a little bit and have it be very close to expectations rather than a lot of choices that you have to sift through. And don't worry about what other people are doing. We don't even know. It's like a tip of the iceberg, whatever they're projecting out. Okay, so you do you. If you meet someone new, they could be from a different culture or place, or you could meet them while traveling. So be open to that. Also, we have karmic energy coming through with this. 2 travel cards. So connecting all the travel energy to the travel energy of the week, it would be Wednesday. That's the easiest day to meet someone if you're trying to meet someone. All right, if you're happily single, good, because feels like you've got some necessary movement and changes. This is a time to travel. This is a time to try something different. It's a great time to throw yourself into work or personal development. And you're going to have so many ideas. The biggest thing for you is capturing all of this stuff and deciding what it is that you want to do. Because there's almost fewer hours in the day than you have to kind of like manifest all this stuff. So focus and collaborate and cooperate, very connected to what I was talking about in the daily card reading with the 5 of Wands. You don't have to do it all on your own. Might be good to hire someone too if you've got a lot of stuff to help out with certain things. It's a good month. Any aspect of relationship that you might be in. All right, let's move on to destiny. And this is really cool because, again, we're going to look at the traditional Hierophant card in just a second, but it says, you hold the key to an awakened life. Set yourself free. So think about that for a second. I'm going to pull the traditional Hierophant and show you how sort of conditioned that card is. What we'll see on it when I find it is, here we go. Typically a pope or a leader, and there are keys in front of him and there are disciples. So we can take the religious piece out and basically just say it's a boss and it's a structure that's been in place for a long time. The keys are at his feet and they have to wait for permission to pass. He's the gatekeeper. He holds the keys. So we have that in your past right here because that is the same card, just a different illustration. And now we have something that it connects very clearly to this one. And it says, you hold the key to an awakened life. It's kind of what I've been saying the whole time. And if we look at the triptych in the center, we have tradition and we have anything but tradition here. And these are seeped in tradition too. 10 of Pentacles is very traditional. So tradition, and blowing that tradition through the sky and making a change. So you can take that path and it's okay. It's the blue pill and the red pill of the matrix. What's predictable and what's unpredictable, you get a choice. And with the awakened key and the awakened life, you got to get up. You have to do the work. So if you want to do it, you can do it. And this is a big message from your guides. You can do it if you want to. Okay? So this is an oracle deck. Each one of these numbers associates with a message in the book, but we can also look at that as saying it could take a little bit more than a month for this to come into fruition, whatever you're doing. You're trying to look at the week ahead, but I sometimes get messages beyond the week. And so that's what we're seeing here, okay? Let's take a moment now I always like to look at a big idea for these special topics, just to sort of see what is it all about. So the big idea today was messages from your guides. So what's the takeaway? What's the one message you're going to take away from today? and then we'll go to a final question at the end here in just a moment. So big idea, big takeaway. What's the focus? We see a lot of things going on here. And I'll do a little summary after this, but okay. Oh, El Diablo. All right, so we have the Devil card here, which is saying don't limit yourself, don't doubt yourself, focus on possibilities, and always ask the tough questions. You hold the key. This is a card that comes through when we're on the precipice of change, wanting to sometimes hold us back a half step. And I'm telling you, you've got what it takes to move forward. Quick summary of what I see here. An opportunity is knocking, a fork in the road, which we discussed, something from the past that hasn't yet been resolved. So you have a choice right here and now to kind of figure out which path, and also is that door closed. Clarity is the main thing that you want to focus on in this week ahead. We see a lot of movement and movement for the better. I feel like you're going to have enough to do what you need to do in this period of time. Positivity, a change of schedule, accepting opportunity when it comes knocking, and maybe just taking that key and saying, I've got what it takes. Forget about this fear or this anxiety. Let's do this, okay? We're going to, speaking of doing things, we're going to move on next to the meditation. And what we're going to do today in this meditation is imagine that we're looking at those ships taking flight and we're on one of those ships. So close your eyes if you will, and put a question to the side. Anything that, if there's something that I haven't yet answered, hold that. Let's just focus on the meditation now. Take a moment if you will, close your eyes, and imagine that you just got through the checkpoint that I was talking about in my dreams. So now you are holding a ticket to take one of those spaceships, rocket ships, or UFOs. I don't care what you want to call them. But you see something on the horizon and it's going to take you to the next level. Take that golden ticket, hand it to the person and say, I'm ready, and say what you're ready for, okay? And as you enter into this ship, you're the pilot. Imagine that you are creating a path in front of you and it's easier this time. That's all you have to do is set something in motion. The commitment, the invocation is really the power here. I want this, I'm ready for this. And handing the ticket is you handing the ace of coins to the universe. And now just imagine that you're starting to see movement, okay? Breathe, close your eyes, just enjoy the sound bath, and I'll be back to read the final card. Imagine now that with the ease of a feather landing on the planet, that you are closer to the destination, to the dream, to the vision, and that you are now capable of that instantaneous manifestation that I was talking about. On the next natural exhale, I'd like you to open your eyes. We're going to focus now on the final question that you have for me. This can be anything that I didn't yet cover. Don't type it in chat, just focus on the question, and let's let the cards show up and see what the message is. Well, we got another 10, folks, the 10 of Cups. So in today's reading, you have your center card, 10 of Wands, reversed, crossed by the 10 of Pentacles, and now we have the 10 of Cups as the answer to your final question. So we can take a few things away from this. First of all, this is a period where there should be more to celebrate. You're also in a period where you might be bringing in new people, new opportunities, and this is a time to really step into that spotlight like I talked about earlier. We see the lovers there right on the platform, basically stepping into the spotlight. So I feel like you're being set up for success here. This can be incoming love. This can be positive accolades. This can be personal happiness and overcoming the odds. And this can be also you connecting to a larger audience, a larger group of friends, finding a chosen family. And it's a really beautiful card. I have to say, like in the minor arcana, 10 of Cups always makes me really happy to see it because it's so joyful. And there's nothing negative really in the 10 of Cups, especially when it's upright. So this is about better days ahead. That rainbow, right? You know, I often put that one up there, but it never gets chosen. But this is the rainbow card for sure. So it feels like we've got a rainbow on the horizon. Continue to get into that energy. If we remind ourselves here, it came through in career. Joy is the key, and connect with people that bring joy into your life. Kindred spirits. This is what this card didn't want you to connect to, but it's your divine right to have happiness and joy. It's part of why we come here. We want to learn, we want to expand, we want to speak the language of the universe, which is love and joy. All right, everybody. That was this beautiful, beautiful weekend collective taking you through the week ahead. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you still have a chance to hit the thumbs up and say thanks. It really does make a difference, so consider doing that. Leave a comment when you watch this on replay. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in the future. I read each and every topic, each and every comment, and it helps. Again, give me a follow on social media. A quick reminder, I do not offer any sort of products or services through chat. A lot of people pretend to be me. You're just going to show up here on YouTube for that kind of connection. So ignore that. Those are imposters. You can always go to my website if you need to get more clarification of like where to find me. And I'd like to say thanks. Thanks to everybody that gave back with super stickers, super chat, memberships. Thanks to YouTube for giving me a platform here. I appreciate everybody. And I'm going to take a couple moments here to say thank you. So let me just pull up the membership tab. We'll start off with the newest members. And I'll try, I know Dakota was great. I got to probably wait for replay to see all the folks that gifted memberships, but I'm just going to start by calling out all the new members. So thank you to the folks that gifted. To all the new folks or the returning folks, I'm just going to say your names and welcome you. So B. Watkins, Cindy, Kay, Tiago, Evelyn, Brandy, Liza with a Z, Tammy, Christy, Pamela, Lalitha, sorry. I have to get close because it's in small print here. Morella, let's see who else we've got here. Okay, Marina, Curio, Luliana, Inge, LDB, KV, Joanne, Eli Abatjour, Christy. We had a lot of new folks today. Thank you so much. Amrita, Jennifer, and that's everybody for today. And that's a lot of people for today. So thank you to those who gifted memberships. I'll try to see it in just a moment. Super stickers and super chat. I just want to say a little bit of gratitude for this as well. So today, kicking things off, we have Yoga Rising, ZM, K. Ross, Sophie, Cut and Paste, Maria, Jeannie, and Monica. Thank you everybody for showing up today, and especially those who could give back a little bit. Let me see who I can see here. First of all, Eileen, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I can see that. I know Paula B was another one because I said that earlier. Let's see who else. Maybe that was everybody. If I forgot anybody, apologies. I know that Dakota covered you. Okay, Isabella, thank you for gifting 1. B. Deidre, thank you for gifting 5. And let's see, thanks to Mobot Industries for 6 months of membership as well. I think I caught everybody that I can see. I can only see back so far on the chat here, so appreciate you. Enzo, thanks. Grazie to you as well. All right, and Lone Wolf, thank you as well. And Monica, I think I got everybody. All right, Apollo is just sleeping in the background, so I'm not gonna pull him up, but I'll kind of let you see him for a second. Hey, buddy, wanna come here? He said, no, not unless there's food or a leash that's going to come forward. So from Apollo and I wish you all the best. I hope you have a great weekend and that you enjoyed the energy of this reading. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you again every Monday, Thursday, and Friday for monthly readings, every day for dailies. You can go to my main channel for more information. Thanks again to Dakota for your help with moderating, and I'll see you all soon. A reminder, all the monthly videos also have a standalone meditation, so if you'd like a longer one, you can also check that out. Okay, bye folks. Thank you.